course. Thank you. I will zoom in on, if you can't see, just let me know. I know some of this font's very small. And I am getting my voice back, so I apologize. So this is y'all's annual client review. So what we'll do is look at your fleet year over year. So your current period is going to be fiscal year 24, prior period is fiscal year 23, and it just looks at your fleet as a whole. So everything that Judge Sims, Hilton, and Lisa and I worked on since we partnered, all that information is in here. So I'm going to start with the spend overview for you all. Your lease expense on here, do y'all need it bigger? Is good? It's clear on my screen. I don't. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. Okay, so your lease expense, that's going to be on all your EFM lease vehicles. So again, current period, fiscal year 24, prior period, fiscal year 23. So you see that you did increase the fleet and we still stayed pretty average as far as the expense not going up. That's because we're replacing vehicles, rolling equity back in so that y'all are able to continue to have a new fleet without the expense rising. There's not a ton, y'all don't have a ton of our products on there as far as maintenance and fuel and that sort of thing. That would be additional that go into this. So y'all is pretty much lease expense. You'll see there's a credit for $16,200. There was an admin error on finance side that they caught, and there was a credit given back to the county once it was caught.
What are those citations on there?
So y'all's were toll violations. So anytime y'all's vehicles go through a toll, since it is titled under enterprise, our team will pay it automatically so that the toll's taken care of. With this small amount, we can tell that y'all aren't always going through tolls, you know, it's probably a few times a month that it happens. But if there are vehicles that are consistently going through, we always recommend getting toll tags. That's the easiest way. If they're emergency response vehicles, those vehicles are exempt from tolls. However, the toll reader, when it goes through, is not smart enough to know that that vehicle is a police vehicle or pursuit vehicle. So there's a special pursuit tag that can be put onto the vehicles so that that doesn't happen. But again, with this small of amount, you can tell it's not something that's happening very often.
I bet those are sheriff vehicles, I'm sure.
Yeah,
They
they
are.
are.
Were they
Transport.
transport?
Some transports, if they're investigating, because all CID has unmarked, those are probably what that is. And again, it don't happen too often. It's my understanding the patrol car don't get dinged, so it's gonna be the
It
sheriff's
does.
office. It does get dinged?
Like she said, it doesn't recognize that as a patrol. So where do we get those tags that identify it as patrol?
I mean, it'll be through like the NTTA, but I can send you the link where y'all can go on
If
to
you would
see
send
it.
it to our purchasing agent, that would be great.
Okay, I will do that. So this right here is y'all's fleet as a whole. So the age of the fleet and the odometers of the fleet. So gives you a breakdown here. What we'd like to see over here is a current period that the average model year is getting newer, which y'all's is, which means we are getting the old vehicles out, bringing the new vehicles in, and it continues to improve every year. There are, as of 2020, any vehicle that's 2020 or older, in 2025, they're going to be 5+ years of age. So those are, you know, vehicles that we look at and target, and I know something that we've discussed before, that there are probably some vehicles that just need to be sold, that they have been replaced already, they've been held onto for a little bit, and then we need to sell them. Judge, I know that's one thing that we talked about, that they're being held onto, but I will show you that we actually did quite a few vehicle sales this year, so we're picking that up and getting it taken care of. And then there's 38 vehicles that are over 100,000 miles. And we do have quite a few vehicles on order for fiscal year 25 that are going to be replacing some of these vehicles, so I do expect when we look at this again next year that this is going to improve. There won't be so many aged and high mileage vehicles.
When you sell those vehicles, how much is credited to Harrison County?
Everything. So when you all get the vehicles, let's say it's a lease vehicle, right, and there's still money owed on it, we sell the vehicle for you all, we pay off whatever is left owed, and then everything goes back to the county.
That's how we're keeping our toll
correct, yep. And that is, if you remember, kind of probably what Nathan showed you on the very beginning, that to keep y'all in a healthy fleet cycle and y'all continue to cycle the vehicles but keep your payments continue to stay the same, it's because we can continue to apply the equity back and keep y'all in new vehicles every 4 to 5 years. This is just a breakdown of what you would see on the website if you were to go on the website for all fiscal year 25 vehicles have been ordered. I was talking to Hilton right now. We have some of the Sheriff's Department Fords have scheduled for production for this month, and there's just some of the GM, some of his and some of Lisa's that are still waiting to be scheduled for production. But everything's moving along. There's great communication between Hilton's team and Bobcat and us when vehicles are going there and getting things done. Very responsive, so everything's moving very, very smoothly right now for this fiscal year ordering. Recalls, so this is really just an FYI for you all. There's 23 recalls on county vehicles right now. They are activated all the way back from 2022 through this year. This is just a little breakdown of what I saw. Obviously, you know, we want y'all's drivers to be safe when they're in the vehicle, so it isn't like if a recall comes up, y'all can't absolutely drive it, but to pay attention to what the recall is, if it is an actual safety one, not to be driving the vehicle or get it in so that it can be taken care of. Also, when it comes time for us to sell those vehicles, all the recalls have to be completed before we can pick them up.
Well, those recalls, can they be handled locally or they got to be handled through them?
Nope, you take them to the local dealership and they'll handle them. Some of them, and I would probably expect these aged ones, there might not be a fix for it. I would expect by this time that the vehicles have at least been taken in to see if a recall can be done, and there might not be a fix for it. But it might have been overlooked because it's been a while and they could go in now, so it's just something to keep in mind.
Mr. Poindexter,
Yes, sir.
how many vehicles have y'all experienced that have recalls?
I got a list the other day. We had 2 of them fixed this morning. Ford, they have a traveling, I guess a mobile unit. They come out, fix 2 of them today. We have some other ones that they can't do that. We have to get them in the shop to get them done. What's crazy is some of them that's been in the shop, this should have done been fixed, and the shop is not fixing them. But we're actively working on getting the recalls fixed. But 2 of them's done today.
Okay,
Because the mobile could come out and fix the recall.
some of my stuff.
And if there's ones that are on here that you have like a repair order that you can show that it has been done, just send that to Michelle. And maybe the dealership didn't send it in, so we weren't able to deactivate it, but if you can see on there that
They
it
don't,
has.
Yeah, they don't, we have to pay for them.
we have to beg to get the paperwork, and then when they're coming to pick them up, of course, I'm thinking that they're already in the system. They're not, so finally we get the paperwork, I send it to Michelle, and she clears it, we're able to send it back.
Okay.
But we've had a lot of trouble with the ones that we've sent back,
Mhm.
getting the paperwork so they can come and get it.
Okay, okay. We all know the process.
And one of those is an old vehicle, 10061, and, that, I know that was on the list. And as far as getting, anything fixed on it, it is probably not worth what it would take to get it down there, so,
This Haynes Road Bridge where this recall
Yes, sir.
action, okay.
All right. And this right here is a breakdown of the vehicle sales over fiscal year 24. So you can see in 23 we didn't sell any, which was a big area of opportunity that we discussed when we went into the planning for 2024 vehicles, which y'all did great on. So we sold 24 vehicles. Total gain back to the county was $337,458. So a ton of money going back. The resale piece is something that Enterprise is very good at. You know, we really dominate in that field. So we love to see this. We love to see that the sales going through, the money that we're getting back, and this is a huge part every year when we go into planning for the next fiscal year. We take into account the equity that needs to be coming back to the county. So that's why it's so important that we continue to sell the aged vehicles when the new vehicles are coming in, so that y'all continue to see gains like this coming back to the county.
So you've got average gain there of 14,000, so you made 14,000 back on
Yep.
resale.
Yep, on average, every vehicle made about 14,000 back per vehicle.
And that's net of the, reduced
Mhm. Yeah, and then as as we start doing more of the lease vehicles being sold, because we're still doing a big chunk of like aged, county-owned vehicles and stuff, as more of the lease vehicles are beginning to sell, you're gonna see that number increase, because those vehicles are only 4 to 5 years old and have really low mileage, because y'all don't do a ton of miles out here, which is huge for our government clients, that y'all can really capitalize on the equity piece of this. So we just need to continue doing this. Y'all did a great job this year, getting those vehicles out and sold. I talked to Michelle on the way here. Hilton's been sitting in vehicles. We have them working right now, so there's more vehicles in the process of being sold. So everything is going very well.
So is this kind of similar with the number of vehicles sold last year, what we could expect every year, is about that number or something?
Yeah, I would say it's going to be close into that number, as long as, because we're ordering just about those vehicles every year. So as long as we are pulling out what we're putting in, that it's going to be close around there. Those categories are the main categories that I wanted to hit on today. Do y'all have any questions on anything fleet related?
So our sale of vehicles that aren't enterprise, y'all are doing those?
Are we doing them? Not all of them, right? Yeah.
Purchasing agents.
Through an auction for those.
And they're very minimum, and we might get $2,000 for all the
Those are very,
ground vehicles, whatever, very Malibu's now.
right. And we have the inoperable ones out at Road Bridge that we need to sell. So most of them, but we just go through a public auction process.
Hilton, y'all get some of your old vehicles moved out and replaced as you need them?
Yes, sir. Some of the older ones, we moved out to Callan, and I've talked to the purchasing agent about it at some point. She's busy getting stuff straight, but she's gonna have an auction, and we'll get some of them. We're replacing the jail's Chevrolet cars with some of our older Explorers, because they're in better shape, and we'll get rid of what are they, not Luminas, but the Impalas. Impalas, we'll get, we've gotten rid of one of them, give them an Explorer, because it was in better shape. We have another one, as soon as we get some more Tahoes done, we'll have an older Explorer, not a lease vehicle, to give the jail so they can do local transports, which will save some money on gas, because that big van, one inmate for the big van is, I hate to say it, a little too much, but we're gonna give the annex jail, or make sure they have one, and they can run around in town, go to doctors and stuff like that. And, but there are some out there to be sold. And I ain't gonna bring a whole bunch. I'm not very mechanical, but like one of the Chevrolet cars, it's got 180,000, 200,000 miles on it. It's old. It's like 15 years old. So.
And then there's several that were damaged in the hailstorm that we did not repair that we will be selling.
Right.
And those county owned, once they're sold, you can just send us an email that they've been sold and we can get them removed from the fleet.
Okay.
So when we go into planning for next year, we're not bringing up vehicles that
But
y'all
now,
don't have
if I
anymore.
send vehicles back, I send her an email so she can put it on the agenda to get I don't
Yes.
know what it's called, but
The
to get it,
surplus.
yeah, the surplus, to get it removed.
Yeah, I'm sure, I assume you have a master list of all your vehicles.
Yes, sir.
So, after every sale, you can just send that to Caleb, they can update it.
Yep.
So they get the old ones off.
Yes, sir. And the Tahoes are being built. Equipment has finally come in, and I think we've taken possession of 3 of them. And when we get ready, we send the Tahoe that we're replacing the Bobcat, they strip it. We make sure that everything is right on it, and I email Michelle to come get it. When she says she's coming, they're coming to get it, I email her. But for each Tahoe, not knowing how long it would take to get going, I budgeted 3 extra months payment on that, so we didn't fall short. So there's gonna be some left in that, because the way I budgeted it, I think it's easier to have a little bit too much, and y'all can do with it what you need, than have to come back and say, hey, I didn't budget enough, so. If that makes sense.
I noticed the average condition impact you have there, $1,700. Is there a particular, is it usually tires or something that reduces that value?
I mean, this is taken into account normal wear and tear, so if it's, this condition impact is gonna mean there's a vehicle that was worse than average wear and tear that we took back. So I can pull like the details, exactly what it is on those ones, so we can look in and
Like I said,
dig in and
there's
see what it
something that
is.
stands out to you that we keep doing, we keep sending them all tires.
Yeah,
Like that's something we
We have made it a point, because one slipped through last year, and I had no excuse, it slipped by me, but we've made it a point now, either, myself or Captain Clayton, we go and look at the tires. The hail damage, we've had all that fixed, so, but we walk around the vehicle and make sure there's something we didn't miss, a cracked tail light or something that way, because if it goes back, we really get dinged, and that's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, or we buy some used tires, we miss something.
We do,
yeah.
It ain't
I
my
can-
birthday.
I can look though and see if there's like a common one that I see that's happening and let you know. Any other questions?
Thank you,
No?
that was very
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah, of course.
You got a copy
I will send it, I'll send it.
of it. When you email Judge a copy of your report to that.
Mhm. I sure will. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you very much, appreciate you coming out.
Of course. We'll move this trip hazard down here. No problem. I'm gonna leave these pastries here if y'all want any.